everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I am Natita, the author of the book Wives Still Pray, which you can find on Amazon as well as on our website, and the owner of the Fabric Beautique, which is a Christian-based business. So we have a lot of different items that you can purchase for yourself, for friends or family: prayer and devotional pillows, prayer journals, Bible tote bags, all of the things. So make sure that you click the link down in the description box to take a peruse around our website. So today might be what might be considered a hot topic. It might be considered a hot topic. I wanted to come in today because for those who follow, thank you. And if you are new, consider subscribing. I upload every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. For those who have been following, you know that the Fabric Boutique will have its own retail space in the refinery here in Texas, and I've talked about that in previous videos. I'll make sure one of the videos pop up at the end of this video, but as I am preparing for that, as well as preparing for a 3-day market that's happening in October, and some of the things that I'm working on, and I will be sharing that. Stay tuned for those videos. But one of the things that I find that boggles my mind a little bit, and perhaps sound off in the comments, let me know your thoughts on this. But for context, I make all of my own clothes. So I sew on a regular basis. I make everything that I wear that you see in these videos. I've been at events where I vended and showed what I wore, what I made for that event, to wear all of that. So I'm already a garment sewer. I've made quilts, and obviously I make my prayer and devotional pillows, my pouches, all of that, right? And so, and Bible tote bags. So I do a lot of sewing, and I have been sewing for many years, right? And so one of the things that, while mostly, for those who know, I have Sew Natural Dame, which is where you can see those other things that I make, but naturally I follow a lot of garment sewists. I do follow also other creative DIY craft channels and other small businesses who make their products and different things of that nature. Handmade businesses, whether it's sewing handmade, or maybe it's some kind of soap or whatever the case may be. You get what I'm saying. One of the common things that I see that I've noticed in some of these videos, and I don't know, forgive me if maybe this is a generational or age thing, I don't know, but I just wanted to put this out there to help those, especially those who watch small business videos, people who make their Bible tote bags, their tote bags in general, makeup bags, all of these different things, pouches, pencil pouches, all of these different things, and desire to want to do that. Maybe not on as large of a scale. Maybe you don't even want to do it as a business. Maybe you just want to do it for family. But I'm speaking specifically to those who want to get into the handmade business, that you're sewing your products and making things, and you are watching these different business channels that might offer business tips, market tips, different things of that nature, which is all good. I'm not taking away from that. But what I've noticed when I scan comments, people are always asking that person, well, what is the size of that? Or can you share how you made that specifically? Can you tell me the dimensions? And, you know, they want information. And most of the responses that you would get from those YouTubers are, well, that's proprietary information. I figured this out on my own, and I created the pattern and da-da-da, or I don't know if all of them create a pattern, not necessarily to sell, but maybe they created the pattern and they've have it cut out on cardstock. Some of those people I don't even see do that. They like remeasure every single time they are making the thing, which I don't understand. We'll get into that again. It could be a generational thing, age, I don't know, experience, I don't know, for some of the things that I see, even with some of the comments. But let me help you out. It is super easy to create your tote bags, your Bible sleeves, your pouches, your coin pouches, whatever it is that you see that you want to make. Let me help you out. I'm just gonna give up the goods. This could be hot. This could be hot, and a lot of people see this, or nobody sees this, and whoever do decide to watch it may, you know, who knows? Sound off in the comments. Be my guest. But for me, let me start out just from my perspective. There's only one item that I make that I don't give all of the information for, and that is my prayer and devotional pillow. Not the pillow. I actually have a YouTube video on this channel that show you how to make that pillow. I leave the dimensions, everything in the description box. I'll link to it up here in the iCard, and I'll probably have it pop up at the end of this video. Go look at it. Please go look at it. And the reason I'm sharing this is because why hold people back? And I'm not saying people who don't share their dimensions and everything is holding somebody back. No, I'm not saying that. If they feel that, you know, they worked hard to come up with the dimensions for their whatever it is, their tote bag, their pouches, their coin pouches, and all this other different thing, they worked it out and, you know, was just laboring over that, and they don't want to, you know, share their information, so be it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people who want to know. Share with me the dimensions, the size of the thing. I want to do the thing. Let me help you out. First of all, here's the easiest thing that you can do. The number one easiest thing that you can do. Think of it like this. You are hoping or desiring to make a product to sell, and you are hoping and desiring that whatever it is that you make to sell, people will buy based on the price that you set. You want people to support you. So as a business, as a person looking to go down that path, why not support another small business? I see a lot of videos about Bible sleeves and, you know, all of this, and, you know, I'm not going to share my dimensions and everything like that. There are so many free patterns online. You can Google free tote bag pattern, free coin pouch pattern, free whatever it is, Bible sleeve, whatever it is. There's a free pattern out there. You may have to get on somebody's email list, newsletter list, or something like that. But the free ones, what I have seen, typically is very generic. You're only going to get the base bottom line of, you know, the dimensions, how to sew it up, and that's it. But then you will see others that's available for purchase that will give you, hey, here's my pattern offers adding a pocket on the inside, on the outside. This zipper, how I do the zipper, it's a recessed zipper. No, it's a sit-up zipper. No, it has tabs. A zipper with tabs. You might have to pay for that. And the price can range anywhere from $5 to $11 or some. I've seen prices for patterns range in that way. Also, for those who are, if you don't want to pay that, go over to Walmart, go over to Hobby Lobby, go over to where patterns are sold and look in the home deck and home decor. All of these patterns already exist on the market. Buy it. When you buy, now when I say buy it, let's see commercial. When I say commercial, I'm saying you went over there to Simplicity, Hobby Lobby, or somebody and you bought a pattern versus you bought an indie pattern. So in the garment making community, sewing community, we call, when you purchase a pattern and you add some elements to it or just make shape, turn the design a little different, we call it pattern hacking. I'm gonna just blow the lid off of this. We call it pattern hacking. What does that mean? We went out and purchased a pattern, be it commercial or indie, and we made changes to it to fit to our body. Maybe we added sleeves. It didn't come with sleeves, but we hacked it to add sleeves or a neckband or the length. We did something to it. We hacked the pattern to make it our own. But when we decide to speak about that pattern, that garment that we made, we will say, this is X, Y, and Z pattern. This is X, Y, and Z pattern. But this is the modification or the hacks that I made. Now turn that to indie. And when I turn it to indie, if you're buying the indie patterns, you know, their Bible tote or, you know, their book sleeve pattern or whatever the pattern is, same thing applies. But the difference with indie, when you buy a tote bag pattern, you buy So Sweetness is good. That is, I'm telling you, I'm just gonna blow the roof off of this. I'm gonna give you a pattern company. So Sweetness actually has in her patterns on the website and in her patterns that you can use her pattern for sale. So you can't sell her, reproduce her pattern, like print her pattern and then sell it, you know, not that. No, the item that you make from using that pattern. So she has pouch patterns, all I will link to, that's just one example. But you can use that pattern, make the thing, and make multiples of the thing and sell it at markets and different things like that. Why do I raise this up? Because I don't want you, one, harping on because a YouTuber will not give out the dimensions for a tote bag or something like that. Buy a pattern and hack it. Make it how it's intended. And So Sweetness, shout out to her again. She has sew-alongs for all of her patterns. All of her patterns have sew-alongs. So you can follow along as she's making it, and you're making it, you get comfortable with the design, get comfortable with the pattern, and then hack it. Make some changes. Maybe you want to make it larger. Maybe you want to make it smaller. Maybe you want to add extra pockets. You then you own the pattern. You can hack it however you want. But say you want to sell it on your website on Etsy. The most of all of these indie patterns that allow you to sell what you create from using their pattern, they simply ask that you put an acknowledgement in your post that this was the pattern that you used. Yeah, there might be elements and things that are different, but be honest. It's okay. It is okay. Trust me. To have that, I have it in my posting for, even though it's showing sold out right now, it might not show on my website because it's sold out, but my my Bible totes, carriers, I acknowledge the pattern that I used to create that. What I did with it and the fabric I used and all that was my own, you know, what I use, what I either purchase or from my own personal bespoke designs. I want to encourage you to do that. You don't have to scratch your head trying to figure out, well, I can't, let me pause their video because they're not saying it, but let me try to see if I can figure out based on how they're laying something on their cutting mat that has all of the squares and stuff on it where you can just count the squares. But anyway, don't extend yourself that way. That's wasted time, and it's also can be a hindrance to doing what it is that you have the desire to do. It is okay if you're not a designer. It is okay. It could be once you start purchasing different patterns and seeing patterns and get used to making things that you do have that unction or that desire, and that's perfectly okay to then do something on your own, like from scratch. But if you're starting out and you want to make the tote bags, the coin pouches, the Bible sleeves, there's patterns out there that exist. Google them. Also, do a search on YouTube. They're out there. It's just a matter of you have to take any pride that you might have in acknowledging that you use somebody's pattern to create the thing that you are now selling, right? You also, say for, even for something as simple as a pillow. This is a pillow inside my house. You could take this pillow, instead of trying to figure out, you like the size of this pillow in your own house, go ahead, take your measuring tape, measure from one seam to the next to get the size. This is 20 inches. I will call this 20 by 20. But remember, you need seam allowance. So you can't do 20 by 20 and then just sew it up 20 by 20 at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. The end result is not a 20 by 20. If you want the end result to be a 20 by 20, you're going to have to make it 21 by 21. Let's say that, right? And then you might have a little wiggle room for your insert and everything that goes in there. So it's things like that that I see that, let's stop struggling in business, because these things are the very things that can keep you from starting, from moving into the thing. And because you just want to know. And also for me, even on my website, I say the dimensions of my prayer and devotional pillow. You could do the math. If I say it's an 18 by 18, I didn't sew it up 18 by 18. It had to be probably 19 by 19, or, you know, you get what I'm saying, right? You can read things on people's website when you talk about size, say for tablets and phones. If you have a tablet or know somebody have a tablet, go measure it. Add extra width and length to it so you have seam allowance. If you figure like, oh, I don't know how to sew that up, so many videos on YouTube to show you how to sew up free videos. Free, that will show you how to sew up a sleeve, a book sleeve, a tablet sleeve. Do not make it harder than it needs to be. And again, I am not taking away from those who, you know, toil to figure out, you know, the dimensions for their makeup bags and for their tote bags and pillows and pouches and everything. But all those things I just mentioned, there's a pattern for that. Somebody has a pattern for it. You might have to pay for it. Some might be free. That's just giving you the base to do the thing, and then you have to continue. The thing is, you have to continue to do the thing in order to get better at it. So if you are new to sewing and it's like, oh, I don't know how, you know, to do it, start basic. Continue to do the thing, and then as you get comfortable, then you will start thinking, oh, I want to add this little element to it. Oh, I want to do that. Oh, or you know, there's very little, if anything, that's new under the sun. Even what I do, it's not new. What makes it different, here's the key that people don't seem to understand. What makes it different, that makes it stand out, is your take, your delivery of the item. Maybe you designed the fabric yourself, had it printed through spoon flower. While everybody might have makeup bags and tote bags, they won't have yours because it's your personal design. Right? I hope everybody understand. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. Again, not to take away from the ones who have toiled. And even some people have decided to design patterns or offer something else for, you know, a particular item or something like that. Again, there's a lot of free, but for everything that you want to make, there is a pattern for it, especially in this handmade space. When you're talking book sleeves, tote bags, and tote bags with pockets with inserts, in interior pockets, there's patterns for all of that. All you have to do is buy it and see that they have, most, like I say, have disclaimers that say you can use this pattern to create items to sell. You can't resell the pattern, obviously. That will be infringement. But you follow what I'm saying. So I wanted to pop in because as I continue to go through the items that I'll be creating for my market, I'm using patterns. I'm using patterns. I'll probably change some elements, add a few key things in the items that I'm making, but I'm using patterns that I bought and purchased myself. And there is the disclaimer that the designer have said, oh, you can use this to create items to sell. I'm not going to make anything of this process harder than what it needs to be, because it already takes time to curate your fabric collection that you like, the thread, the needles you need, machine it. All of those things already take time and space. Cutting everything out, if you're going to quilt an item, if you're going to, you know, all of that already takes time and space. Why toil over the pattern, the size of a thing, when you can go buy the pattern or download something free? YouTube University, Google Universe. There's a lot of it out there. So that is my encouragement and perhaps hot topic. It might be a hot topic, it may not be. I don't know how this is going to go over, but I wanted to share that with you because, like I said, I'll be sharing some of the items that I have cut out and whatnot, and I'll share with you the patterns that I've used. And if I did make a change to it, I'll tell you what the change is. I mean, again, no one can, there's a lot of people who say, oh, I was inspired by, who simply copy. They just copy. It is what it is. Some people copy, some people are inspired. But whoever the grouping is, if it's the copycats or if it's those who are just simply inspired, know that whatever you do, whatever God placed in your heart, whatever the vision God gave you, can't nobody replicate, no matter how hard they try. I don't care how many copycats and inspirations, you know, people are inspired by that are out there. What's for you is for you. I know we hear it all the time, colloquial, whatever, but it is true. Can nobody duplicate what you have to offer, how you speak about your product, the passion, the vision you have for your business and what you create. It cannot be duplicated. So I will leave that there. If you have not subscribed, consider subscribing. And if you thought this was helpful, thumbs up this video. And yeah, I'll have more for you as I continue to prep and prepare, because there's a lot to do. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section down below. All right, everybody, have a blessed one. Bye.